You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K24. It's myself, Mo Mootsie, alongside me as always, the three-time NBA champion, Mr. BJ Armstrong. BJ, what a day in the NBA. What a day.
What a day, what a day, what a day. Hey, the road teams. It's all about the road teams. The road warriors,
Hey,
the road
man.
warriors, the road warriors.
The home court ain't looking too good today, but let me tell you this. It sounded like a home game for the Knicks, even though they were in
Yes,
Philly.
yes,
BJ, I saw
yes,
videos. I see Knicks fans in Philadelphia. Go New York, go New York, go. I see Knicks fans in Philadelphia putting a Knicks
yes.
jersey on the Wilt Chamberlain statue.
Oh,
I see Knicks fans in
man.
Philadelphia in the arena. The whole arena's chanting F Joel Embiid. It was
Yeah,
like a Knicks home game today.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a home game for the New York Knickerbockers.
I
Shout out
gotta
to the
give,
fan base.
I gotta give
This is what I say
the
to
fans
people.
traveled. They got the fans traveled. I can't.
This,
It was a great game. Great
this is what I
game.
say to
Great
people.
game.
Knicks fans are the closest you will get to football fans. And when I say football, you guys call it soccer. But New York Knicks
Right.
fans are as close as you get to football fans because you don't really get away games where fan bases travel in the NBA. But in Premier League and Champions League, we get that. Fans will go all across Europe to watch their team. And they'll be drinking all day in the city that they're in. So fans will go, for example, from Manchester all the way to Madrid. They'd be drinking all day in Madrid. They'd be chanting all day. They'd be singing their songs all day. And that was the energy the New York Knicks fans brought. Shout out to the Knicks fans. I need to get to New York. I need to get to New York for a playoff game. I need
Well,
to. I need
it's
to.
hey. There's nothing standing in between but air and opportunity, Mo. You just got to make it
The
happen.
moolah. So make sure you buy your copy of NBA 2K24 from the link in the description. But the Knicks went on the road and took a commanding 3-1 series lead against the Philadelphia 76ers, 97 to 92. And in this game, they were led by none other. Do you think it's fair to say the best point guard in the Eastern Conference? Jalen Brunson, 47
just
points,
whatever.
10 assists.
Hey, you know what? They say money talk. Well, he made his money today, so I'm gonna let you all
Mm.
say whatever you want to
That the
say.
contract, everyone said he was overpaid. That's looking real good right now. But OG Anunoby, for me, the star player of the game, BJ. You know I got to
Okay.
represent for my brother. The way
Oh,
he
of
guarded Joel
course.
Embiid, a wing
Right.
guarding the MVP 7 footer who just dropped 50 points a few days ago. Sensational. Sensational. Over for the Knicks, let's have a look at it. Let's break down the box score for you guys right now. It was most of the scoring load was carried by Jalen Brunson, 47 points, 10 assists. OG, like I just said, 16 and 14 boards. Josh Hart, though, for players listed at 6'4" and under in NBA history, he has the best rebounding rate. He might be the best rebounding small guy that I've ever seen play basketball. He had 17 boards in this one. He was all over the glass. And Miles McBride came off the bench with 13 points, and they got it done in a gritty, grind out game. Joel Embiid had 27 points, 10 rebounds, fell apart in the fourth quarter, though, as we've seen him do this series. It's not been a great fourth quarter for Joel Embiid. In game one, he was 0 from 5 from the field in the fourth. Game two, he was 2 of 6 from the field. Game three, he was 1 of 2 from the field. And in game four tonight, he was 0 of 5 from the field in that fourth quarter. It has not been a great game for him in the fourth quarter. But here's what I think about the Sixers. Maxi gave you 23, Oubre gave you 19, and Tobias Harris gave you 10. So with those guys stepping up, they got basically nothing from their bench. But it's really not looking good. They're going to have to go into Madison Square Garden, face the music. The Knicks fans going to be 10 times louder. I think Knicks in five.
Again, this series has been a very close series. Give the Knicks credit. This was a must game for the Knicks. I was really concerned before the game because if this series could easily be 2-2 right now.
And
Easily be
Mitchell
2-2.
Robinson didn't play. I was really worried
Yes.
when they said he's not playing.
And it could easily be 3-1. This could easily be 3-1 Philadelphia. That's how close this series is. Now, give the Knicks credit. In particular, Jalen Brunson carried the load. When you say carrying your team, he did everything. I mean, he was exceptional. He shot 18 of 34 from the field. He was double digits in assists. And they put together a very simple game plan. They attacked Joel Embiid. They kept him involved defensively on all screen roll situations. They attacked him. They didn't allow him to just sit back and play what we call drop coverage. And Philadelphia did not make an adjustment in what they're going to do with Joel Embiid. Now, they're going to have to figure that out because whoever Joel Embiid is guarding, they're going to involve him in the screen, you know? So they're going to have to figure that out, whether they're going to put him on Josh Hart or whatever it is they're going to do. But you can't allow Jalen Brunson to play downhill. I mean, Jalen Brunson was, I mean, I know they were aware of him, but he was just playing downhill, and it's very hard. It's very hard. And once a player gets going, it's just hard to stop him. So, you know, they only had, what, 2 or 3 guys in double figures, and they win the game. I think they only played like 7 to 8 players. And so they played a lot of minutes. So this is not going to be a cakewalk.
And they played a lot of minutes in a high intensity as well.
That's what I'm saying. And this isn't going to be easy. Now, this isn't going to be easy. So great job by the Knicks. Terrific. Now we're going to play in the most difficult game of the series, which is the closeout game. So you think this was hard. Wait till you get to the next one because there's going to be a sense of desperation. And they're going to be in the Garden. Mo, you got to get to New York. It's going to be hyped in the Garden. It's going to be hyped in the Garden. Certainly the atmosphere is going to be off the charts. And they're going to be ready to celebrate in New York. That's for sure. But I think it's still going to be a tough game. And the Knicks have an opportunity to close this out. I mean, right now the Knicks look like they have solved the puzzle of figuring out how to get their best player shots. And Philadelphia is going to have to change something on the defensive end because you're going to have to contain Jalen Brunson. You can't just let him run around like that.
Absolutely. And that game 5 it is going to be absolutely one for the ages because the Sixers trying to fight to keep their season alive. Not only that, you've got a franchise player now who's in the post-game interview talking about he's disappointed in the fans and he thought Philadelphia was supposed to be a sports city and they did not show up for the game. Not a huge fan of those comments. I don't know how the future is going to be looking for Mr. Embiid.
I'm gonna stay on the floor. So that's your expertise. I'm just going to say what I saw. Give me 50 points. Give me 50 points again, Joel. Problem solved.
Let's hope that he can stay on the floor because at some point, some of these things he's doing, he has to get himself ejected because he stamped on, was it Josh Hart who was laying on the floor today? He gave him a little stamp on his leg. And he's just been making dirty plays all season long. And well, it's not working out for him. But the next game of the day was the game that I covered on TV, the Clippers and the Mavericks. The Clippers went on the road and secured the win against Dallas, 116-111. And what
I want to hear you say it, Mo. I want to hear you put some respect on his name. Playoff who?
So check this out.
I want to see you put some respect on his name.
Check this out. I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you the story. Because you can't see the show when you're in America. At the start of the broadcast, they asked me, who are you expecting to have a big game or who do you need to see a big performance from? I said, I need to see Paul George step up because some people have called him a bit of a choker when it comes to the playoffs. And he did that. He had 26 points in the first half, absolutely dominated. And then he didn't score again in the third. In the third and the fourth, it was looking he was traveling, turning the ball over. He was fouling. He was playing awful basketball. But then he hit probably the most important shot of his season so far.
I want to hear you say his name. Playoff what? What do you call him?
Tough.
What do you call
Podcast
him?
P. Podcast P.
Gosh.
BJ, he tied the series at 2-2. Come on. He didn't win the series. If he went to the series, I'll call him that name. But if he goes home in the first round, he ain't getting that name.
Come on, Mo.
You don't get a nickname for going home in the first round. Come on.
Boy, he just showed up. He showed up big.
BJ, they were up 31 points. They were up 31 points, and then it was a tied game. Showing up big requires you to show up for the entire game, not just for the first half, and then let your lead slip away.
Well,
okay.
Clippers 116.
Do you know who showed up big?
Do you know
who showed up big?
James
Harden. James Harden took control of that game down the stretch. He went, I think, 5 possessions in a row. He just hit a floater with his left hand. 5 possessions in a row to close out the win.
You got to give him credit. He played. He looked like every now and then he had a flashback. System. Yeah, he had a flashback.
33 points, seven
I got to
assists,
give
six
him. I have to
rebounds.
give him credit. He turned back the hands of time today. Great win. That was a great win for them. I mean, they came out like, hey, we're here.
Mhm.
And they didn't wait for the game to come to them. They took the fight to Dallas. They showed up, they played well, and now we're in a series. So, Mo, this is going to be interesting now that we move back to LA, and we're going to see what happens. I mean,
Well,
it's going to be very, very, very heated moving forward.
Kyrie had a really tough start to the game. He didn't score in the first quarter, but he still finished with 40 points. He
Say it
stepped
again,
up
Mo.
big, got the
Say it again,
Mavs
Mo. Say it
back
again,
into the
Mo.
game. Kyrie Irving, one of the best performances I've seen in a long time from Kyrie Irving. Luka Doncic finished with a 29-point triple-double. However, I don't know if he's injured or something's troubling him. He did not
Right.
look like himself. And you saw
Yeah,
him at
right.
times holding onto his knee. There's got to be some sort of injury troubling him because that wasn't the regular Luka Doncic, even though he finished with 29, 10, and 10. That
How
wasn't
about that?
the Luka Doncic you would expect to see. So we're going to see what his status is like moving forward. And I think now with Kawhi Leonard out for the rest of the series, I heard it gives the Clippers some clarity on their roles and what they need to do. And I think in a weird way, James Harden having a bigger role benefits him. I don't know. It's obviously is not better to not have Kawhi, but for James Harden personally, I think he prefers having more of the ball and more responsibility. And I see this one going 7 games now, B. I really see this one going all the way down to the wire.
Well, I just want to see who's available. Like I said, I think the big thing is first give the Clippers credit, whatever's going on there in the locker room with the Dallas Mavericks. Talking about Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, he was not himself, even though he had a triple double. How about listen to that, what we're saying here. And now there's clarity if Kawhi Leonard is not playing. So we're going to need Paul George to step up, and he did that tonight. He stepped up, he accepted the challenge, and he was terrific. James Harden, I don't know if you can continue to do that on the offensive end, but he really played well. I mean, he had a little flashback here, and he brought the energy that was necessary. He took advantage of the defenders, he took advantage of his matchup. He played exceptionally well on the road. So that was great to see. Now we're literally now in a 3-game series.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
formula is very simple. We need great players to be great, and we need role players to play their role great. So, we have elite players, we have elite guard play. Tonight, they offset a great individual performance by Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they literally offset that with the great performance by James Harden, Paul George, Luka Doncic. Paul George, I thought had a better game overall than Luka Doncic, even though he
Absolutely.
had a
He
triple
stayed
double.
out of foul trouble, but Luca picked up 2 early fouls, which
Yeah,
clearly hampered his defense because he couldn't be aggressive and the Clippers were just going at him.
yeah, and and you come in and listen when you get any player that scores double figures off the bench, right? Tonight it was Norm Powell. Those are the things that you start looking for and saying, okay, those are the advantages that you need. Norm Powell gets a double figures. I don't think anybody on Dallas, I may be wrong here. I don't think anyone in Dallas
No,
scored in double figures. And
not
then
off the bench.
those are the advantages you need. But as you know, Mo, the big storyline for this game is they were playing from such a huge deficit since the beginning of the game. And for them to get back in the game like they did was fascinating. But give the Clippers credit. I thought they deserved to win this game. And we'll see what happens in game 5. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series.
Well, one series that may be over soon is the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks because Indiana have gone up 3-1 with a 126-113 win. Now, the Bucks were without Giannis. The Bucks were without Dame. Chris Middleton went off injured at some portion of this game. And Bobby Portis, you guys know the vibes, got himself ejected in this one as well. They want to make life as hard as they possibly can for themselves. Bobby getting tossed from this game, and they ended up losing down the stretch. And the Indiana Pacers, all starters scored in double digits, and Obi Toppin gave you double digits off the bench. Meanwhile, on the other side, Brook Lopez led the team with 27 points. Middleton had 25, 10 boards, and 5 assists. And Malik Beasley gave them 20. But aside from that, they did not really get much from their squad. It's tough. You're down your 2 best players. It's like everything we say about the Miami Heat. Your 2 best players are out. No one's expecting you to pick up a win. For the Pacers, fantastic win. They were playing at their speed, the way they like to control the tempo of the game. They got what they wanted. They got the win. And they now go back on the road to try and close this series out in game 5. What did you see in this one, BJ?
Yeah, well, again, it's really hard to win when your key players aren't available, right? Giannis is out. Now Dame is out. Bobby Portis, or Portis, as you like to say, literally only played about 6 or 7 minutes. So I don't know what to expect as far as them trying to win the game, other than the Indiana Pacers, they don't show up to the game. They have their players, Halliburton, they all scored in double figures. This is not looking good for the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, this is not looking good. So there's not much really we can say here other than it would be a huge surprise if the Milwaukee Bucks win another game. Okay, that's absolutely the shocker. That's the shocker, right? So I expect them to take care of business. This goes 5, and I'm expecting the Pacers to advance moving forward.
Well, now let's talk about it, BJ.
Yeah, let's
The
talk
first
about it.
elimination of the postseason has occurred.
Because it's
I'm
going to be
actually
fireworks.
I'm actually going to call the room service lady because I need a broom because the Suns just got swept.
Yeah.
They're out of here. The Timberwolves game 4 on the road, 122 to 116. Anthony Edwards, if you didn't know by now, is that guy. 40 points in the game as he waves goodbye to his childhood hero, Kevin Durant. And I kind of feel bad for Devin Booker. He finally stepped up, had a 49-point game in the playoffs, but it was not enough for this team. And Bradley Beal, the guy that they traded for, had an all-time stinker tonight. He was horrendous. He was, 4 of 13 from the field, 1 of 5 from downtown. I saw a clip where Frank Vogel was trying to high-five him on his way to the bench, and he just brushed away Frank Vogel's hand. Majorly disrespectful. I actually feel bad for Frank Vogel because now that they've been swept, the word on the rumors going around is that Frank Vogel's going to be fired. And my thing is like, what did you want him to do? This is such a poorly constructed roster. There's no balance on the team. The depth is abysmal.
Look at Mo using words. Poorly constructed. I like that.
Wow.
I like
BJ,
that.
I'm educated.
Well, I know you
talk
are.
about Mo using words. I'm a
Mo,
lawyer.
Mo, I didn't mean it that way. I just like the fact that you're just looking at the whole and you're just, that's just, I like that, Mo. I like it.
Come on, man. I was doing
was a
TV. I'm in my
compliment, Mo. It
analysis
was a
bag.
compliment.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It just sounded surprised that a young gentleman like myself can speak eloquently.
Yes.
With
that was
a vastly
impressive.
diverse vocabulary.
Yes.
You know the vibes. You get me?
Yes.
So the Suns swept out of here. Matt Ishbia is paying a lot of money for this team. They're paying Bradley Beal over 50 million, I think, for the next 3 seasons. They don't own their own draft picks until 2030. Kevin Durant will be another year older. It really is not looking good for Phoenix because this year, I said at the start of the season, it's championship or bust for them. Because I don't see them improving next year because they're a second apron luxury tax team, which means they can't really get free agents. They can't use their mid-level exception. They can't combine salaries in trades. This is their roster. So unless you're going to move Booker or you're going to move Durant, this is your team and you're just going to have to live with it. And if you're getting swept in the first round this year, next year, Houston are coming for the playoffs. Next year, Wembanyama is going to be better. Next year, the Lakers might make a move and they might be better. Next year, the Nuggets still going to be there. The Timberwolves going to be better. OKC is going to be better. Zion might be healthy. The Pelicans going to be better. It's not looking good in the West. And what I love is, before the season began, Devin Booker did an interview. Do you remember last year, John Morant did the interview where he said, we're fine in the West? This year, Devin Booker did an interview where he said, I don't know how people are going to guard us. Well, the Timberwolves just did it for 4 games and sent you home. Enjoy Cancun.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be kind to the Phoenix Suns because
why? They just got swept out the playoffs.
Well, I'm going to be kind. And here's why I'm going to be kind. It's because I've seen this movie so many times. Like new owner, come in, you make the big splash in the headlines. And Mo, you said it. constructing a roster, Mo, is really, really difficult to do. It's a difficult thing. And I love listening to guys on television and podcasts, and we love trades. And you start looking at trades, and 95% of the trades that happen, I don't even understand them. Like, why are we trading? It's kind of like such and such is getting moved. And I always ask, why? What are you trying to accomplish with this trade? Like, what are you doing? Like, when I say, what are you doing? How does this improve your team? How does this
The
improve
big
your
splash was
chemistry?
Kevin Durant. He bought the
Well,
team, got Kevin Durant. That's your big splash. Bradley Beal was just a step too far.
okay, okay, that's a splash. But again, the key word is you're constructing a team. No one wins with just one player. No one. You need to build a team. You have to build a team. And when you're building a team, I mean, it's nice to add Kevin Durant to a team. But when you have Kevin Durant and then there's no other way to improve your team, what are you really expecting? So, I mean, Kevin Durant still had what, 30 something points tonight? Say
Yeah,
what you
Kevin
want
Durant had
to.
33, 9, and
Yeah,
5.
Devin Booker had 49 points, but then
Yeah,
they
but
don't have another guy.
they weren't doing that in all 4 games of this series, though.
No, but again, that's why they call it a team. You have to build a team, and when your best player, believe it or not, he doesn't play well every single night, it's not an excuse for you to lose the game. You still have to find a way to win a game if need be. So just let this be an example of that key word, roster construction. You have to construct a team and you're trying to build a team. Now, Mo, I don't know what the future holds for this organization because they don't have any draft picks. They put all their chips in the middle of the table, and I don't know what they do. And they don't even have a point guard. Like, like that is their major concern here. How are you going to play the game today where we just saw a point guard today, Brunson. We saw Kyrie Irving. We saw James Harden. You have to have a guard who can play downhill. You see Shea Alexander. You see Jamal Murray. You have to play a certain style to be able to give yourself a chance to win. There's pockets in the game that you have to do that. And they don't have a player that can do that. And they've somehow have played all year without this. And then it gets exposed. So if there's one thing that the playoffs will do, they will expose your weakness.
It's like you're asking Devin Booker to play the point guard. Devin Booker has been most effective in his career when Rubio joined the team and then they upgraded and got Chris Paul. That's what made Devin Booker the most effective he's been.
And Bradley Beal's not a point guard.
And exactly. So if you're going to do a big trade and you've got Kevin Durant, you should have gone and tried to acquire a point guard.
And I don't think Kevin Durant's a power forward. I mean, so to me, it was just an experiment. In the end, it was exposed because, and I want to say this, Mo, here, because I don't want to wait till next year when the rankings come out. This kid, Anthony Edwards, now, okay, he is the face of the league. He's not top 5. He's the best player in the league right now. He's playing the best in the entire NBA.
He's not better than Jokic right now.
I'm just telling you what I see. You can feel free to chime in. He is the best player in the league right now in the playoffs, hands down.
Yeah, based on the most recent games.
If I'm just watching the game, I'm going on what I'm seeing. This young man, as I said this months ago, he's a top 5 player. In my opinion, he's the face now. He's that good. He is exceptional at what he's doing, what he does on both sides of the ball. And what I like most about that young man tonight is he didn't have a great game, especially in the first half. But he showed up when it mattered most. And he finished. Now, not many can do that. Not many. I haven't seen many players who did what he did here this evening. He didn't have he was playing okay. And we know the hardest game in the series is the closeout game. But this young man showed up in the second half when it mattered most and finished the job. He finished it. He is that electrifying of a player as a talent. And you know what, Mo? He's 22 and he's beginning to display leadership. he will be an MVP in this league. He's the best player right now, playing right now in the NBA. Right now. I can't wait as we advance. I can't wait to see new challenges that will be placed in front of him. That doesn't mean that other players won't step up. However, right now in the first round, check Anthony Edwards. That's what I'm saying right now. Now let's see what the second round brings. And then as we go on, as the playoffs. But I can't say anything other than, and I want to say this, shout out to Coach Finch. I hope he's okay.
Yes, he picked up an injury in the game.
I hope he's okay. These guys are big, strong, athletic. I don't know. It didn't look good.
Yeah, Mike Conley ran into him. So,
and I want to point this out because I pointed it out last night in the New Orleans Pelicans game. The New Orleans Pelicans went small versus the OKC Thunder. And I asked, I was like, why? Like they're arguably the Thunder and the Clippers, in my opinion, are two of the better small ball teams in the league. Probably the two best small ball teams in the league. Okay. I want to shout out to Coach Finch for sticking to his philosophy of saying, we're going to play our brand and our style of basketball. I wasn't sure how this Karl Anthony Towns matchup and KD matchup was going to go. There was a lot of flack staying big in a small ball league right now. And he stayed true to himself, playing big with Karl Anthony Towns, who stepped up big. I think he had about 27, 28 points tonight. Rudy Gobert, one of your favorite players. Rudy was simply terrific in this series.
Sensational series. This is the best series I've seen him playing so far.
Okay. Good. Ant-Man was off the charts. McDaniels, Sixth Man of the Year, Naz Reid, Conley. I mean, they just had it going.
Alexander Walker's defense as well.
Alexander Walker, I shout out to him. Fabulous. And you know what? I just think they focused in when they said, how you guys always say, let's lock in. Well, they were locked in. Now I'm ready to see what they're going to do here, get a couple of days rest. Hopefully Coach Finch is back. He wasn't able to finish the game. That was a hard fall. So great job by those guys for sticking to their philosophy of saying, this is how we play. This is Timberwolves' brand of basketball. I respect that. While everyone else is playing 5 out, we're going to play our style. And right now, you got to deal with Rudy Gobert as an offensive player. I mean, the big fella is running. The big fella is out on the break. I mean, I saw 2 7-footers today out on the break. Well, I saw 2 7-footers out on the break leading the charge. So I loved it. I love what they did. I love how they're playing. And that wasn't an easy game here tonight, but they had a sensational lead player. Make no doubt about it. They have won. They have won. Now let's see how it's going to finish out. But Anthony Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, he's got the stamp of approval.
This is the first time in 12 months that I feel nervous about my Nuggets prediction. Because like I said last time, the Timberwolves, they could take out the Nuggets. But speaking of the Suns, the Vultures already started circling because the sources are already talking. Kevin Durant never felt comfortable with his role in Phoenix's offense alongside Booker and Bradley Beal. The sources said Durant had persistent issues with the offense, feeling he was being relegated to the corner far too often. Is Kevin Durant going to force his way to another team?
I'm not going there. I'm done with that. I'm focusing in on these young guys. Anthony Edwards, Shea Alexander.
And that dunk AD had on him was crazy.
Jalen Brunson. I'm focusing in on this because you know what? These young guys, they deserve the spotlight now. Luka Doncic, Jokic. These guys, it's their league now. I'm just saying it. It's their league now. It's their league. It's their league. All this other stuff off the court, how you're being used. Let's move on now. Anthony Edwards has moved in. Shea Alexander has moved in. Jokic is here. Luka Doncic is here. All this other stuff, Wembanyama is knocking on the door. He's here. It's a new era now. And I'm moving on. I'm going in with these young guys because these young guys deserve it. They have performed in big moments. I mean, Shea Alexander's up 3-0. You saw another young player finish it out tonight. And we talk about performing. We talk about showing up. We talk about leadership. Well, you know what? These young guys now, they deserve their time. So I'm not going to get into all that other stuff because this league is in good shape. And I'm going to put the spotlight here on those guys. It's great to see. Jalen Brunson was simply, I mean, come on, this guy had 47. This other kid has 40. I mean, Mo, it's a new era now. It's a new time. And now, you know what, Mo? I'm excited to see the next 4 or 5 years who's going to elevate and take the mantle now and take this league.
The crown is up for grabs.
It's open now. And that's what it is. So, you know, it's a great time. But all the other stuff, go, okay, that's fine. Do what you got to do. But, you know, Anthony Edwards has showed you what it is. Jason Tatum, and I don't want to leave JT out. JT is right there.
Because everyone just thinks he's old because he's been so good for so long.
That's what I'm saying.
Tatum's another really young player. But BJ,
this league is in good shape.
It's time to predict tonight's games because Jason Tatum and the Celtics are in Miami for Game 4. They hold a 2-1 advantage. Who you got winning this one? I'm going to guess it's the Celtics because the Heat are injured. Let's move to the next one.
Yes.
The Thunder and the Pelicans, Game 4. Can the Thunder get the clean sweep?
Let's
Thunder,
get it.
Clean sweep. Now, the Laker fans have got some hope in them after winning the last one.
They should, Mo. They should have hope. The Laker fans, the Laker faithful, they should have hope. The Lakers travel. The Lakers will be there.
You think they're winning Game 5?
Did you hear me say that?
I'm asking you a question.
Mo, I'm telling you, I've said this all year. Lakers, just give me what you have. Jokic is too good. Now, I am a little concerned about Jamal Murray. Now, I don't know where his status is. I don't know what's going on there.
He's looking injured as well. And I know these guys just play through the injuries, but he's not looking like himself.
But in saying all of that, I'm still going to go with the Nuggets. Now, the difference between the Nuggets last year and this year, I'll say it again, Mo, you need depth. You need their starting five is perhaps the best starting five in the league.
It is.
Perhaps. Okay.
It is.
Right now, you know, you said it early. I said I had to wait and see. I'm waiting on someone to step up off that bench to replace Bruce Brown and Jeff Green in particular. I don't see it, Mo.
Well, here's the thing. The entire roster outside of Michael Porter Jr. cannot hit threes. Through this playoff so far, aside from Michael Porter Jr., I think the rest of the team is shooting 20-something% from behind the arc. So the role players just aren't knocking down their shots. But that also includes Jokic and Murray from behind the arc.
Well, I know we focus a lot on scoring. Okay? You have to be able to contribute to the game without scoring. Scoring can't be the determining factor.
Because the role players, I think Peyton Watson in particular is a very, very good defender.
Yeah, well, Braun, is it Braun, Jackson?
Brown.
Okay, is that how you put it? Brown,
yeah.
Holiday. They're only going 8-9 deep. And these guys aren't giving me any contributions to the game. I'm concerned about this because it puts so much pressure on their starting five. It puts a lot of pressure on their starting five. Bruce Brown would come in, arguably, they would probably be, some nights they look like they were better with him on the floor. And then, you know, Jeff Green would come in and so I'm concerned now with the depth of this team, if there's anything that I can nitpick with, but I still don't think that's enough for the Lakers to beat them. But I am concerned with the depth because there's no Naz Reid coming off the bench. There's no
Nikhil Alexander-Walker.
Yes.
No Kyle Anderson.
So as the series goes, you know, those minutes start to pile up. So I'm a little concerned. I think this team, the Denver Nuggets, I think they are mature enough to understand the following. Finish the deal. Don't play around. Because
your opponents already booked their spot in the next round. You don't want to give them more time to rest while you're playing unnecessary games in the first round.
You don't want to play around because the series changes in a heartbeat. Don't play with your food. Exactly. Don't play. Finish it and move on. So I think this is going to be, I think it's going to be tough. I think the Lakers are going to show up. I'm going to give Anthony Davis and LeBron James credit. Especially AD. AD has showed up big in this series. He's taken on the challenge. I respect that. LeBron James has showed up. Him and Aaron Gordon, they got something going on. Seems like one plays well one game, the next game the other one plays well. I think Aaron Gordon will probably play better at home. And I think they're going to try to finish this game out. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the Lakers, what they're going to do.
We will indeed. And in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the Hoop Genius podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast from. That's another episode, and we'll be back tomorrow morning breaking down tonight's games. So subscribe to the show, turn on the notification bell so you can get the episode as soon as it drops. And most importantly, until next time, get buckets.